Ladies and gentlemen, with the introduction of the cultivator coming up on the 25th of May, I wanted to show you guys a video basically explaining farming 101. Everything you need to know to get started with this farming things. Now, with getting started, all you're going to need, first of all, first thing you're going to need is to find yourself some seed. Now, there's plenty of seeds out there. They're going to be like corn seeds, as we know, the hemp seeds, and of course, the pumpkin seeds. Now, when it comes to seeds, you can plant them everywhere when the cultivator patch comes up. You're going to be able to plant them everywhere, but they're just going to be slow growth. So for people that are like in like the zergs and stuff like that, if you don't want to be bothered with making a farm, I would understand if you just want to plant some of these seeds like in your compound. You know, they're going to grow still, but it's going to be a very slow growth. Now, I would suggest if you're going to be doing this, probably be in an area where it's not freezing, because as you can see, in order for the things to grow, you're going to need something in the sense of like water, light, temperature, and things like that. This temperature is a nice temperature, so that's why it will work. Now, moving forward, for those of us that are solo and we don't really have compounds, or we actually want to invest on, farming, you can do something like this. Something very small, something not crazy. As you can see, this is a 2x1, I guess I would call, or a 1x2. I don't know. But all you need is like a, your good old trusty water jug or water barrel, I should say. Two batteries at least. Your TC and one crop plot. It's not going to be a lot. You could literally find blueprints of these everywhere. You could also learn it on the talent tree. And you don't need to have all of these things. All you really need is going to be a crop plot, a source of light, and a source of water. A source of water could just be something like your good old jugs that people like to use. You're just gonna come over, you're gonna go over to like a lake or some water source that is purified. You're gonna grab some water. Once you have the water, you're gonna go over to your crop and you're gonna water them manually, like so. Boom. And then you're going to see right here, for example, it says our water is 9,000. Obviously, it's going down because it doesn't have a sprinkler going on. You don't need the sprinkler, by the way. The sprinkler just kind of keeps it top off, but you don't need the sprinkler to make it work. With that said, it would help, but you don't need it. What I would tell you guys to do is get yourself a water barrel, put it here, get lots of purified water like so, as you see me getting them right now. And then you're just gonna go over, and I just go over to the jug or the water barrel, and then you're just gonna click on it, and then you're just gonna give it or take whatever you want to do, give it. So then later on when you come over here and you're like, oh damn, this needs to be water, let me just put some water in it, and that's it. You see what I mean? You don't need all of this stuff. However, you will need at least a small car battery in order for you to plug it upstairs to one of the actual, you don't need two solar panels, but one will be fine. You could plug it into one solar panel and one of these lights. The lights is going to use two, honestly. And if it's two, like you see, this battery is powering my solar panel. Dude, even if it's at night, it still has an hour left of power in it, So you will be set just with one thing. And if it has one light, you'll be good. By the way, if you guys didn't know, one light could actually cover up to 4 of these crop plots, and I will show you that in a second. Now, if you wanted to get fancy with it, and you want to add things like pumps or something like that, that's up to you. Just be aware that when it comes to the pumps, you could actually break them. So somebody could come up to you, go up to your pump, and legit just come over here like this and grieve it. So just be very careful when it comes to the pumps, because somebody could honestly grieve it. Like as you can see, I'm just hitting it and I'm breaking the pump. So try to avoid that, or if you're going to have a pump, at least have something covering it to prevent that. But obviously, if you add a pump and the pump is being fed straight into the water jug, then obviously your water barrel is going to be full of water. And then obviously at that point, then I would say, yes, you could get yourself a pump, because you're going to need a pump to be used so it could pump the water from the barrel and up into the sprinklers. But again, you don't need sprinklers. Sprinklers are more for like big boy farms and stuff like that. If you're just going to use one, you don't need one unless you don't want to and you don't really want to care for this. That's up to you. But honestly, this is not useful. I mean, this is not needed. You can make this run just as fine. Now if we go over here, and I'll show you guys this design right here. you're gonna see right here we have honestly what I would tell you guys to do if you are gonna use a sprinkler, use one sprinkler per crop plot. That would be the best thing. Is you can see one light is shining on both crop plots, even the one that is all the way here that you could clearly see that the light is not reaching. Somehow this is getting 100% light and it's happy. Obviously the ground is not very happy, and then when it comes to the water, it's not too happy about it. And the reason being is because there's things that the plants have that are called genetics. We will talk about that further in a future video. But for now, all you need to know is that genetics is something that you should really care about if you want to really get into the farming aspect. And then you're going to see ground. Ground is affected by fertilizer. We're going to get, with the cultivator update, we're going to get this thing called the fertilizer. Or I should call it, what the heck is this called? I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, this is where you're going to be making your fertilizer. You could put any type of thing in here. Food, poops. It doesn't necessarily have to be horse poop. It could be fish. It could be meat. Remember to always split your stacks, because if you, just like when you're cooking metal, if you split your stacks, you know, you're going to get more for that. So just remember that. So obviously we want to split all our stacks like so, and then we'll come back to that in a second. Now, with a farm like this, obviously I would tell you to use a medium battery, because now you're using a pump. You're powering more than one of these water sprinklers. And in reality, if you guys didn't know, the water sprinklers, they don't need power. You could just use, as long as you have a pump that pumps it straight into the water sprinklers, you'll be just fine. And my water pump is like over here somewhere. I can't remember where I put it. But yeah, that's all you need to know. Like, you don't really need that. You're good, like, you know. And now, going back to where I had it over here, you might be wondering, it was like, well, what are these small water catchers? Well, if you guys didn't know, let's say you don't have enough money, or you don't really want to build around to like a water pump. So it's like, well, how other than like manually am I going to keep this stocked up? Well, if you really want to go, you know, kind of like AFK and collect water even when you're not online, you could go ahead and put yourself one of these water catchers. You could actually daisy chain these things like I'm doing right here, and then just put this going straight down into the actual water jug down here. Obviously I'm connected to the pump, so that's the reason why. But you would just connect it and you'll see that you're gonna get a lot of water passively. Not tons of it. Like if you see right here, it says that it's only gonna have an output, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this is full right now. For the most part, a lot of these things, they don't catch much water. If I were connected, obviously the water pump is gonna be getting full because it has 10K right there. But yeah, water catchers passively, they collect a lot of water, but not enough water for you to keep the sprinkler running. So be mindful of that. If you're going to do that, don't think you're going to be able to keep the sprinkler on. I would just say if you're going to have water catchers, it would just be used to like maintain this full, and that's about it. So again, solo duo or somebody who just doesn't really want to bother with this, but you really want to just kind of do this, this will be like a good, I guess, base design for you to, like, you know, get started with cultivation. You know, you could get here hemp seeds, you could have your pumpkin seeds and things like that going in here. You could have your potatoes. Potatoes going to be something introduced with the cultivator, and that's going to be great. All you need is a small battery. That way you could power your light, and that's it. You could close this off, and you see the base is not worth a lot. It's really cheap, 300. That's not even half a node. You can see, you see this? It's cheap, and then you would just have one solar panel, not two, but just one solar panel up here, and you'll be set. It's not much. It's not much. I will be talking about more in detail in regards to when it comes to like watering. What's the best watering system? What are the I should say there's 3 stages to the water. So I'm going to be talking about like the basic stage like this, the more advanced, and the more like having like pumps and stuff like that. But that will be in a later video. I will be talking about genetics, which is what you see right here is breeding. That's going to be a thing in the future. That's where you kind of like breed the bad genes out and bring in the good genes. Like so, you know. Crossbreeding is going to be a thing that is going to be in the future, as well as I'm going to talk to you more about the compost bin. If you come over here, you can see we're making fertilizer. And that's out of the horse poop as well as the fish. You know, it's going to be great. And then, of course, if you go over here, if I come over here and I put fertilizer into this, like so, you're going to see that all of a sudden now the ground goes up to 100%. You see, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're happy. Now, if you're wondering when it comes to why is it that it's like, even though this is topped off 9,000 milliliters, somehow they're kind of upset about the water they're getting. That is because some of these things, the genetics, have a W, which means they require more water. And this is why the red genes are bad and the green genes are good. Green means good. So like, for example, the G you see right there means it grows faster, while the W means it needs more water. You see this one has 2 waters requirements. That's why the water consumption will be twice as much. And that's why the water is at 71% satisfaction. Now, I don't want to go too much into detail, even though I've gone into a lot of detail into this. That's all kind of like the basics you need to know if you want to get started with cultivation. Like I said, I'm gonna be making better videos more in detail if you guys are more interested in that. I have been your host, Mr. BioLaser. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.